What's up, Fabric community, and welcome to the October edition of the Fabric Monthly Update. I'm Patrick LeBlanc, Principal Program Manager on the Microsoft Fabric product team. This month, we have a little less content than normal, and you may be wondering, why, Patrick? Well, we just had the Microsoft Fabric Community Conference in Europe, where we announced so many sensational new features and capabilities. Be sure to check out the updates blog. There's a link in the description below. So, enough of all this talking about all these new updates. You know how we like to do. Let's get into some demos. First up, Power BI Copilot and AI. I'm pleased to announce the public preview of the enhanced Power BI report creation with Copilot. Enhancements have been introduced to the page creation feature in Power BI with Copilot. These updates aim to provide a clearer and more transparent experience for users. We've increased clarity and contextual awareness, which means that Copilot now has the capability to interact with users to collect additional details before generating the page, which aids in creating more informative reports. We've also added a page outline and increasing transparency. After generating the page with Copilot, an outline will appear in the Copilot chat pane. This feature enables you to review the content and verify that it meets your specification. Next up, we are replacing quick measure suggestions with Copilot with Microsoft Fabric Copilot. Quick measure suggestions with Copilot. Quick measure suggestions with Copilot feature is no longer available in public preview. To continue to use natural language to write DAX formulas for measures, Microsoft Fabric Copilot in DAX Query View can help you write DAX queries, which can include query scope measures that can be added to your model. Quick measures will continue to let you choose a calculation from a list and create a measure using a drag and drop template, generating the DAX formula upon clicking Add. Now, everyone's favorite topic, Power BI reporting. We've made two major updates to visual calculations. Combo charts and field parameters are now supported with visual calcs. You can now use visual calculations in combo charts, such as the line and clustered column chart, just like you could in other chart types. In this month, we have enabled the use of visual calculations with field parameters. This means that you can add a visual calculation to a visual that contains a field parameter and vice versa. This month, the Azure Maps visual brings a powerful enhancement to its functionality with the data-bound reference layers. In previous releases, the Azure Maps reference layer was limited to static shapes without the ability to conditionally format or bind geometries to customers' business data. Additionally, the static nature of the reference layers limited user interaction, preventing actions such as selecting, filtering, clicking, or accessing tooltips for polygons and points, unlike other visual components. Stay tuned for more details in the demo to come. We are announcing the retirement of the Teams Activity Analytics Report. The Teams Activity Analytics Report is an out-of-the-box report users can create in their own workspace, which tracks their team's usage data. The option to create this report is from Power BI application in Teams, Outlook, and M365. We will be retiring this feature starting from December 31st, 2024. That means that starting January 1st, 2025, users will not be able to create that report, and reports that we already created will not be updated. Let's take a look at some demos for the new Azure Maps updates and the visual calculation updates.
October is here, so it's time for more updates to visual calculations. And this month, we're adding support for combo charts such as the line and stacked column chart and the line and clustered column chart. Let's see this in action. Here, I have a column chart that shows the sales amount by fiscal quarter. It also contains a visual calculation that calculates the moving average over 3 quarters, and this is currently in the tooltips. Since this month we're adding support for combo charts for visual calculations, I can now switch this visual type to one of the combo charts and move the visual calculations to the line y-axis. As we're making progress on enabling visual calculations for all visual types, please let us know which visual you want us to prioritize. Next, I want to quickly show you it's easier to create visual calculations based on a template. The ribbon button now has a bottom portion that you can use to quickly create a templated visual calculation by simply selecting the template. For example, I'll quickly add a calculation based on the versus previous template. Fill in the blanks, and you're done. Finally, this month, we're adding field parameter support for visual calculations. You can now add a visual calculation to a visual that uses field parameters and vice versa. For example, here I have defined a field parameter called product attributes. The visual uses that field parameter and shows the percent of grand total visual calculation. Now, if I select a different product attribute such as class, the visual will of course update, and the visual calculation will update as well to show the percent of grand total for each class. This is the first step for support for field parameters with visual calculations, and we're looking forward for you to try it out and provide feedback on this specific feature, as well as any other aspect of visual calculations.
We have an exciting update for the Azure Map visual this month. Up until now, reference layers added to the map were static and not tied to the data in your model. Now you'll be able to map the components of your reference layer to your data, making them an interactive part of your report. To set this up, you first add the field you want to associate with your reference layer to the visual. For example, we've added the distribution center column, which has values for center 1 through 7. Then you add your file that contains the reference layer to the visual. In my GeoJSON file, I've labeled each of my polygons with all of their coordinates for the shape with a name property that has the exact same value as the values of my model's column. You can see I've done the same for the points as well. You can also do something similar with shape and KML files in addition to GeoJSON files. So back to our example. Here we have a sample company in Wyoming with 7 distribution centers, represented by the points on the map. And the areas that each center serve are represented by the polygons. With everything set up correctly, you can see that the shapes are now interactive. Tooltips show up on the visual, and I can cross-highlight too. You can also use conditional formatting for the shapes now that they're data-bound. If I go to the fill color for the polygons and open up the conditional formatting dialog, I can color the shapes based off of the weekly shipment numbers, setting the color range from yellow to purple. As another example, I can also color it based off of the field value of my color column. And if I remove the conditional formatting, I can also base a color on a legend field. So for example, I can add my distribution center field to the legend as well, and that will give each of my shapes a unique color. Now during all of this formatting, you may have noticed that there's one shape on the map that hasn't been updated as I've been formatting the others. This shape is unmapped to any field in my data. There's only 7 distribution centers in my data, but if I switch back to my GeoJSON file, you see that there's an 8th center here, which is that unmapped polygon on the map. You're able to format these unmapped objects as well. You can choose to format them with custom colors, and you can also choose to hide unmapped objects. And something interesting here is that since cross-highlighting temporarily filters out the data on the map, when you do this, that means that non-selective values are also hidden as you cross-highlight. I'll give one last example of the interactivity of the reference layer. They're also reactive to filters. So if, for example, you right-click and exclude a region, they'll become unmapped and follow whatever formatting or visibility setting you've applied.
This wouldn't be a Power BI update without discussing updates to Power BI modeling. Dynamic format strings for measures are now generally available, giving you ultimate flexibility in how measures are displayed in visuals. These format strings can be conditionally applied using data analytic expressions, or DAX. based on the measure value, filters applied, and/or to add additional information such as units. We're also introducing 4 new InfoView data analytic expression functions. DAX Query View introduced new DAX functions to get metadata about your semantic model with the info DAX functions. And now 4 of these functions are available as InfoView DAX functions, which convert IDs to friendly names and can be used in calculated tables of the semantic model in addition to being able to run them in DAX Query View. Now, DAX has an automatic filtering mechanism that occurs when multiple columns from the same table are filtered. This behavior is informally called autoexist. DAX understands that not all combination of values across these columns are valid, and as a result, it automatically excludes invalid combinations. The DAX engine generated a coalesce value filter that not only returns value combination, but also affects measured calculations. This month, we're giving you more control over whether you want this behavior in your semantic model. You can decide whether you want to turn off coalesce value filters and turn on independent value filters instead. Turning on independent value filters by setting the value filter behavior setting to independent results in multiple filters on the same table being kept separate instead of the DAX engine combining them into one. That was a lot of words, Patrick. You know how we like to do. You all want to see this. Enough of all this talking. Let's jump into the demo.
DAX has an automatic filtering mechanism that occurs when multiple columns from the same table are filtered. While this has benefits, in specific situations it can lead to unexpected results. This mechanism is informally called autoexist, and in this month's update we are launching a preview that enables you to decide whether you want this mechanism to be used or not in your semantic model by changing the value filter behavior setting. To find this setting, open your semantic model in the service or in Power BI Desktop, and in Power BI Desktop then go to the model view. There, open the properties pane for your semantic model. Here you will find a setting called value filter behavior. 3 options are available. The first one is automatic, which is the default setting. This setting currently is equal to the third setting, coalesced, which enables the filtering mechanism, so any new model will still have the same filtering mechanism as before. In the future, we plan to switch the setting to the second option, independent, which disables the filtering mechanism. So at that time, any new model would have the filtering mechanism turned off by default. When we make this switch, we will announce it in our blogs and documentation. For clarity, I will set it to coalesced for now, even though automatic does the same. To see the difference in these settings, let's take a look at a simple example with 2 measures. The first one, number of products, simply counts the number of products by counting the number of rows in the catalog table. The second one calculates the number of products for all years in the catalog table. Now for the report. On the left, I have the same catalog table printed and 2 measures, number of products and number of products for all years, and 2 slices, one for year and one for color. Notice how we are filtering to year equals 2023 and color equals blue or red. So we should be counting all the blue or red products in 2023 for the first measure, which indeed is 4. And the second measure should be returning all the blue and red products for all years, which should be equal to 6. Now if I switch to 2024, we would expect the first measure to change, since it's counting the number of products for the selected year, but the second measure result should stay the same. Notice how the number of products for all years measured result has just changed to 5. Why is that? It's because there are no red products in 2024. So with the filtering mechanism on, DAX combines the filters into one, keeping only the combinations that exist. Since there are no red products in 2024, it effectively sets the filter to year equals 2024 and color equals blue instead of blue and red. Therefore, the number of products for all years is the number of blue products, which is 5. Now let's switch the setting to independent. Let's go back for the report and see it update. Notice how the 5 changes to 6 since now the filters are not combined by DAX but kept separately. So the filters are year equals 2024 and colors is blue or red, which indeed is 6 products for all years. The value filter behavior setting gives you more control over the way DAX evaluates multiple filters on the same table, enabling you to avoid unexpected results in situations like the example here.
The Power BI mobile apps will no longer connect to report server using OAuth and ADFS 2016. As of March 1st, 2025, the Power BI mobile app will no longer be able to connect to report server using the OAuth protocol ADFS configured on Windows Server 2016. Today, the Power BI mobile apps uses 2 authentication libraries, MSL when connecting to Power BI service and non-ADFS based reporting scenarios, and ADL when connecting to ADFS using OAuth protocol. Since ADL library reached end of life, it is time for us to migrate all authentication scenarios to use MSL. Given that MSL requires ADFS 2019 or newer, the Power BI mobile app will no longer be able to connect to ADFS 2016 once the migration is completed. And finally, we have many great visualizations and new visuals in AppSource this month. The Sales Velocity Compass by Office Solution is the new visual in AppSource this month. We also have new visuals, the Date Picker by PowerViz, Cycle Plot by Nova Silva, Drill Down Network Pro by Zoom Charts, the Decomposition Tree by All Expanding, Edit Table for Reference Master Data Management with Approval Workflow Audit and Governance, and AdWise Advanced Column version 1.0. Next up, Fabric Synapse Data Warehouse. We're excited to announce case insensitivity correlation support in Fabric Data Warehouse. This new feature lets you configure your warehouse with CI correlation via RESTful API. If no correlation is specified, the default will be case sensitivity. So you need to be careful and need to make sure you do this ahead of time. CI correlation simplifies queries, improves user experience, and enhances integration with other systems. It also ensures consistency when migrating data from different case sensitivity settings and boosts performance by simplifying comparisons. We have also recently optimized our task scheduling algorithm in our distributed query processing engine to reduce contention when the workspace is under moderate to heavy concurrency. In testing, we have observed this optimization to make dramatic improvements in P99 execution time. Customers who run complex queries with multiple users should benefit from these improvements. This change is for query workloads only and will not benefit ingestion workloads. You also now have the capability to store a large amount of text and binary data in varchar max and var binary max columns in the data warehouse tables. Fabric Data Warehouse allows you to use varchar max and var binary max in the create table statement and define the columns that contain large text or binary data. These data types allow you to store up to 1 meg of data per cell, enabling you to store free text or JSON data without the risk of potential data truncation. Speaking of JSON, we made some enhancements in that area also. JSON functionalities in Data Warehouse and SQL Endpoint for Lakehouse and mirrored databases have been improved. These new JSON capabilities allow you to query JSON text in SQL Server, Azure SQL Database, and Fabric seamlessly. Next up, Fabric Synapse Data Engineering. We have made a significant leap in enhancing enterprise-grade security and authentication by introducing service principal name support for API for GraphQL. This feature offers organizations looking to integrate their apps with an API for GraphQL in Microsoft Fabric to tie seamlessly with their enterprise identity and access management systems. By leveraging SPNs, Businesses can now implement robust application to GraphQL authentication without relying on user credentials. This facilitates automated processes and streamlines the management of complex applications and microservices architectures. It's a perfect fit for the zero trust security model, enabling the fine-grained access controls and auditing capabilities that are essential in today's regulatory landscape. In addition, Fabric API for GraphQL now adds the ability to automatically generate Python and Node.js code based on GraphQL queries tested in the API Explorer. This new feature simplifies the workflow for developers by providing a seamless transition from query test to code implementation. By allowing users to test their GraphQL queries within the API Explorer and then instantly generating the corresponding code snippet. This feature saves valuable time and reduces potential errors. The result is a more efficient development process, enabling developers to focus on higher order tasks without getting bogged down in repetitive coding. We're also thrilled to announce the support for mirrored databases in Spark notebooks. This enhancement allows you to seamlessly explore and run read-only queries on your open format tables, just like Lakehouses, all while taking full advantage of our advanced analytics engine, without the need to migrate any of your data into Fabric. Finally, we're introducing a powerful new feature in Lakehouses: filtering, sorting, and searching capabilities. This improvement is designed to make data exploration and analysis more efficient by allowing you to quickly retrieve the information you need based on specific criteria, right within the Lakehouse environment. Whether you're organizing schemas, tables, files, or folders, this feature will significantly boost productivity and streamline collaboration. So, that's a lot of words, Patrick. You know how we like to do? Enough of all this talking. Let's get into this demo.
We're excited to introduce a powerful and highly anticipated feature in the Lakehouse: a sorting, filtering, and searching capability for Lakehouse objects. In this first release, you will be able to sort schemas, tables, files, and folders by name or created date just with a single click. You can also filter your Lakehouse objects for Delta tables, a newly created schema, or for a specific file type in your folder so you can focus on what you need. Finally, use search to quickly retrieve a specific table, schema, or file you are looking for. This enhancement is designed to make your data exploration and analysis more efficient by allowing you to quickly retrieve the information you need, helping you focus on what truly matters, gaining insight and driving results.
Okay, we can't wrap this up without talking about Fabric real-time intelligence. Who hasn't faced the frustration of discovering that a dashboard has changed without them knowing, whether it's accidental edits or unintentional overwrites? These surprises can disrupt your work at the worst times. Fabric's Git integration is now available for real-time dashboards and solves exactly that problem, giving you the version control and confidence you need to manage collaborative updates and avoid last-minute scrambles. And finally, we are thrilled to announce an addition to KQL Query Set that will revolutionize the way you interact with your data. Say goodbye to the time-consuming process of rerunning queries to view your data in different visualizations and formats. With this new feature, you can now graphically visualize query results instantly and effortlessly, and controlling the formatting without the need for rerun queries, all using a familiar UI. Wow, what an amazing set of updates. A bit fewer than most months, but just as innovative. And if you've missed any of the previous month's updates, they're always available where? Right here on our YouTube channel. Be sure to go check them out. But if you think this month's updates or any of the previous month's updates are amazing, wait until you see the announcements we're making at the Microsoft Ignite conference in Chicago the week of November 18th. They will be truly groundbreaking and game-changing. I'll be there. I hope to see you there. Now, with this continuous stream of updates, you're bound to have some questions. Feel free to post them where? In the comments below, or head over to our Fabric Community Forum, which can be found at aka.ms/Fabric Community. It's the best way to connect with others and to get your questions answered. Okay, if you have any questions or comments about this video or about Microsoft Fabric in general, you know what to do. Post them in the comments below. If this is your first time visiting the Microsoft Fabric YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. As always, from Microsoft and myself, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in next month's video.